Yeah, and welcome to another video. We got this is a treat. Osnoy, Tom Bukovac.
Hey.
And so
Thanks for having us, man. Thanks for having us.
And I just have a guitar so I don't look like an idiot. But anyways, the only thing that is happening today is we have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, so, I said to Brett, we'll make a video.
About nothing.
The only rule is that we have no idea what we're going to do.
Exactly.
And that's the only rule.
That's okay with me.
And I'm totally into that. Exactly. Like, that was one. Okay, we're going to, lots of thoughts going through my head. Go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead,
okay, I don't really know you very well, but we've had plenty of chats, and I always enjoyed talking to you. And you always struck me as the kind of guy that can land on your feet if I drop you off of any story. You've been playing,
he's setting you up, right?
Your whole sort of, playing style coming up.
No improvisation at all. It's all written out. Note by note. My whole career is written out.
Yeah, right. No. But I think that's there's no right way to do it. There's plenty of amazing musicians that have sort of scripted their stuff. But I've always sort of had a special affinity personally for guys that can handle anything at any time, right?
Survival skill.
We talked about that. Remember when we talked about doing a video? We talked about just throwing them to the wolves, like see what you can do on the first take, something complicated, like we grew up doing, right? But I don't know. Thanks for having us, dude.
Please.
Over here. This is totally impromptu last minute. I'm just a huge fan of both you cats, and I just feel like we can get into some crazy stuff today if we just let the thing roll.
I'll leave all their links down below. I'm gonna let them I'll chime in from behind the camera. I'm working 2 cameras today, so
one-man crew.
So you guys are gonna talk, and I'll chime in when it's necessary. But other than that, Tom Bukovac and Osnoy.
Yes. So I asked you about that tune, Chocolate Souffle, right? I watched the studio version, and then I watched the live version. It's incredible how you is that are you feeling that like a 16th behind?
No, I'm just playing really behind the beat.
And there's no math to it at all.
No
math to it. It's incredible. If I play the groove, show me the groove, and then you can do that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That's all it is. So if I play the melody in time, it'll be this. Check it out. That's the melody.
Right.
So now if I play it behind the beat,
Sick, man. That's sick, man. When did you first start messing with that? That's like listening to D'Angelo and stuff like that.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
It's amazing.
I had another song on my first solo album called Ha.
Yeah.
I can show you how it started, and it's got the whole thing about that tune. If you listen to it later, I watched the Steve Gadd video, and instructional video, and he was playing a really slow blues. He was just boom, just quarter notes, really slow.
Yes.
You know how hard that is to do in the groove. So I saw it, I was like, man, I wish I can write a tune on a groove like that. So then I was doing a gig in New York with Anton Fig, drummer at the time. Yes. And we played this funk thing where he was just playing quarter notes in kind of a mid-tempo, and it was so funky.
Yes.
So I had the groove of the tune is just, it's A flat. That's all it is. So then I wrote this melody. That's all it is. It goes to G.
Yeah, awesome.
So I thought it was funky, and then when we started to play it live, my whole thing always comes from playing live. It's never comes from sitting at home looking at, whatever. Right. So we started playing it live, and I was messing around with the time, and I started to play behind the beat, and it became like a thing.
Right.
So that was that tune. I played that melody really behind also. Amazing. And then when I was doing Chocolate Souffle years and years later, I remember I was on tour with somebody. I had this band one time called Ban.
Yeah.
With Adam Nussbaum and Jay Anderson and Seamus Blake. So we played this tune.
Yeah.
And somehow at the gig, I was messing around with it, started playing back behind the beat, and it just it felt kind of good. So I was like, kept it going like that. So that's how it happened. It's not mathematical. It's just like a feel thing.
I noticed that you have to really rush the last lick of it to get back into the groove, right?
So it depends on how far I stretch down back.
Cool. Yeah. We were goofing around a minute ago. You guys remember the old Chet Atkins lick, where all this stuff like...
Oh, yeah.
He's really got that together, man. Show me some of those, man.
Well, I don't really have, I found a couple of chords that work on it. Oh, sorry. So you can, no, but check it out. If you put some fancy chord, you can get some. Like
dude, God.
But I don't have many of these.
Show us how you're doing that, please.
Oh, shit. Actually, a whole tone will be good.
Dude.
Okay, so is it the chord 12 frets up?
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to make sure there's no notes that are doubled, because if they're doubled, you get the same note twice.
Right.
So you have to find chord shapes that, like, this doesn't have, it's like you have to find 6-note chords, it's kind of hard.
So this is Duke tablature across.
Like G, D flat,
3, 4,
F, 3, sharp 5, and 1. You can have the high and the low double. It's hard to play that chord. Yeah, exactly. And now if you do this. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That is sick.
I don't know. I'm not like, I have like 3 chords like that. But that stuff, Eric Johnson showed me all the, all the stuff when you do hammer-ons.
Yes.
That's the real
Lenny Bro
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know how to do that stuff, Brett?
Hell no.
Man, that's
the Van Halen version where it's more simplistic than that, like Dance the Night Away and that kind of stuff. But.
Yeah, but you have to find, it's based on the shape, like you have to find a shape when everything kind of open, and then...
So Oz, you're using your thumb to pick the note?
Yeah.
And then your first finger.
It's like the Lenny Bro thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little hard to do.
That's so cool, man. That's really cool.
There's some chords that work good, like this one.
6/9.
If you don't double notes, then it's fine. But a lot of shapes, because it's guitar, you have double notes, and then it doesn't work so well.
Right.
When
you were talking about the like the whole tone scale, right? Like all this.
Yeah.
You guys know that. Let's talk about the fretboard. But that's for the cats at home. We'll get into this brief instructional. So like, the straight whole tone scale, right? Now, I'm not a jazzer, but at age 53, I'm becoming sort of jazz curious. So like after growing.
Well, good luck with that.
So, like all the stuff that I used to just go, oh God, I can't take that. But like there's a part of me that goes, man, I really would like to know. And when I say the half whole scale, that legendary sort of jazz scale, what does that make you think about when I say that?
The half whole?
The half whole scale, yeah. Like
half whole is diminished scale. So if you play a diminished, like if you play a G sharp diminished chord, then that's the scale of that chord. There's actually much more to it, but actually let me give you a tip.
Yes.
So the tip is if you have a dominant chord, any dominant chord, let's say you have a G7 chord.
Yes.
You can play what's called a G sharp diminished scale, which we're not going to get into that, but it basically means you play a half whole from G, and that will be the scale. Like if you play a G7 chord, and I play a half whole starting from G. See, that's that sound that you're talking about.
Do it real slow for all the guys like me.
Sorry. So half whole, half.
Yes.
Whole.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
So that's the scale.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to find out all these years.
Well, there you go. Now
yeah.
But the one thing that you should know, it's a G sharp diminished scale, because a lot of people don't know what the name of it is. They just go like half whole, whole half. They don't know what that is. So without getting too deep into that, it's a G sharp diminished scale.
Okay, I'll play just a real simple shuffle, and you want me to throw those notes around in a strange way, right? Whilst staying bluesy, whilst staying in the whole half-whole thing, right? I'll just be like.
So you want me? So.
Stay in the half-whole scale.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah, I want to see like what if you jumble all that shit around.
Sure,
like, is that cool?
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's this thing. It's kind of. It's that sound.
Arabian kind of vibe, yeah?
Could be. You know, it's like if you mix it with bluesy stuff, it could be a lot of things, really. But like the diminished scale has so many things you can do with it because it's got 8 notes. It's a scale with many notes, so it's a lot of colors, you know. It's like very dark, I guess.
You might want to notice, all you homeschoolers and other types, how easily and quickly he just grabbed all those shapes. Like, this is not a hobby for what he's doing here. And like when I talk about, on my channel, I always talk about how there's no time to think. If you don't know this shit, like you're going to be lost. Do what you just did, where you climb those diminished chords.
Oh, I just went like. That's nothing. That's I don't know. That's all chords from the diminished scale.
Stacked minor thirds, yeah.
That's also that. It's all chords that come out of that scale.
Dig this. I remember when I was a kid, I was on a session with this amazing keyboard player named John Hobbs. I'm sure you know John. He was like, dig this book. He was like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so
there you go.
What do you think of that? Like,
that's exactly what I was doing.
Show me how you
well, you jump in minor thirds because the diminished scale is symmetrical.
Right.
So anything you play, if you jump minor thirds, it works.
Sure.
So it can work in chords. So if you play a G note low.
Yeah.
So if I play try it, if I just do this, that's the sound of a diminished scale. See what I mean? So then if you just add one more note from the scale, which is usually people add this, so now you have this shape, for example. If you jump any of that note, same thing in minor thirds, you get the same thing. See what I mean? And you can do it on any chord that you can.
Show me that shape. What was the note?
No, just do the.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. No, but. Yeah, exactly. And that's minor thirds. Yeah. Yeah, and then you can basically add things into it. I don't know, like.
This is why I came over here.
Woo!
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, now, if I said, one of the things I've always, this is from a guy who plays simple songs all day. I'm not, but like, when you talk about, in your mind, like, I know what the technical definition is, but I want to know in your mind what you think about, like, the difference between half and whole diminished, full diminished and half diminished.
Oh.
How does that strike you in
It's
chords?
different. It's a whole other thing.
Like, what would be a real basic, like, useful way to describe this phenomenon, half and whole diminished? It's just one note difference, yeah?
Yeah, but it's a hard question to answer.
Because isn't it the difference sort of like between like...
I got to think about it heavily.
Yeah.
It's a different...
One of them is more like a dominant 7 chord, right?
Exactly.
It's this. It's this thing, right?
So basically, here's a good way to look at it. Let's say we have a C7 chord.
Yeah.
So if this is the diminished here, you see I'm playing an E diminished.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's C7 flat 9.
Right.
So that's diminished.
Right.
A half diminished would be this E half diminished. So play E half diminished here. No, just play E half diminished. Now, if you put the C on the bass here, then you have a C dominant 9. So that's really the difference.
Okay, so
let's check it out. So play a C7 chord. Just play like. So if I play a half diminished here, it's this sound. It's this. It's pretty much. It's not really. It's like if you look at it from a dominant thing, and then if you play a diminished over the E diminished over the C, then you get this.
The color note being the C sharp.
Yeah, exactly. But it changes the whole thing.
The color note there. Okay, so all right, that's what I'm interested in. Like when you say it changes the whole thing, it goes from bluesy sounding to sort of harmonic minory almost sounding in a sense.
It depends on where it is in the context. It's kind of hard to say. The thing with harmony, and I'm not like a big guy with that, but the thing with harmony is, although there's rules, a lot of times there's things that happen that kind of, they break the rules because our ear used to certain things. So it really depends on where it sits in the harmony in the song and the where it moves,
what's before and after.
Exactly. So that makes a big difference.
Constant motion.
Yeah. Like for example, if you play, like, I don't know if I can explain it properly, but if you play, let's say, D half diminished into G into C minor, for example. Yeah. So there is a scale that will work on this. And then on this. Yeah, so there is scales that will work on each one of those chords, but if you play a D diminished instead of the D half diminished, then it's a whole other thing. It doesn't sound like it's moving anywhere. It's a part of the G7. You see what I mean? Like this.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean?
Like this is like C sharp dominant 7 over G, right?
Yeah.
You think of it that way. Okay, so, this is the kind of stuff that I'm always wanting to learn more about. Like,
the thing unfortunately, there's no shortcuts about this stuff. You have to kind of know, this is the chord, this is the scale that works on it. This is how it moves. You have to kind of.
Okay, so I'm gonna play this, and don't play anything, but just sing a simple or hum a simple melody that would work.
Okay. Da da dee da 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 da. I'm just trying to play chord note. It's hard for me to sing. But da da dee 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 da da da.
Right.
Da da da.
No, you play those chords, and let me just picture what I would picture in my mind.
But I just want to show you something. If you were to play D diminished instead, it would not work. Check it out. Because it doesn't sound like it resolves to anything.
This is not dying to go to the G7. Right?
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is about. Yeah, because some chords are just dying to go to the next thing, right? Although you got the common tone of the B.
Exactly, but that's why what I mean. It's pretty much this.
Right. Right. So play those three chords back and forth. Like when I'm just like navigating things like this as a layman, I'm just trying to picture melodies in my head before I even fish out on the guitar. Like play those changes and like. The first thing that comes to mind was like let's see.
Yeah.
Right. I would take that thing and I would just like start working every single mutation of that kind of thing. Yeah. Like coming from a melodic standpoint, right? Yeah. That's because that's the only way I know how to. Yeah, I don't know all the ways.
But but if you knew, even chord notes will make a difference. Like.
Yes.
Now I'm just playing chord notes, arpeggios.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the G, you can play, you know, when you have a dominant, you can kind of do a lot of things to it. So you can add the flat 9 or sharp 9 or whatever.
Yes.
I've just added a flat 9.
What was that last one? You went.
I just did an arpeggio of really G sharp diminished. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then arpeggio of C minor.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, now check this out. I'm just gonna play something super simple.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
And then you just go off on a sort of this is a 2-chord thing, back and forth. I'll play E flat major 7 to D minor 9.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just get a groove going. Let me get, let's see. Let me get.
That's D minor 7, okay. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
sorry, I'm messing up.
Okay, now same thing. But I'm gonna go. Let's see. I'm gonna go A minor 7, F, D minor to like B flat major 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So here comes 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's stay on the chords twice as long. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to show you something in a second.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
So check it out. So I think it's important. I talk about this a lot. The difference, to my opinion, just my humble opinion, the difference between improvising on a jazz tune and improvising on like a rock tune, a blues tune, is when you're improvising on jazz harmony,
Right.
you kind of have to highlight the harmony.
Right. The chord changes.
The chord changes, and where you play, you know, in like stuff like that, where it's more in the scale, and you don't have, you kind of more, it's more like you don't have to highlight the chords, you kind of create melodies. So if I would have played, if you played this again, I can show you the difference between like improvising in a jazz style and in like, that's what.
This could help me a lot. Okay, so I'll play. You like the tempo?
Do it a little faster.
Okay,
and
show me how you want.
So like maybe.
Okay.
So if I were to just play like, you know, like what you do in the studio, you know? So I'm playing on the key center. I'm not really thinking about the sound of the chord. You know, I'm just playing melodies. So it's just key center. It's just this.
Hit a lot of C major kind of thing, right?
Like it's an F, yeah, I'm treating it as F major. Yeah, but I'm playing melodies. Like if I would play it like more like a jazz style, like not jazz style, but if I think about it as more like a jazzy approach, then I'll try to really highlight the changes, the chords. So let's do that again. 2,
same tempo.
3, 4. I'm kind of adding notes.
Right. Killer.
So you know what I mean? So it's a difference. Like it's so it's hard to do this on changes like that, but that's pretty much the difference between improvising on like a pop tune and improvising on like jazz.
And there's no note changes in any of these chords that really kick their legs out and tell you, like on a lot of cool jazz progressions, there's notes that if you don't get them as the chord goes by, you're really missing it. Like
this is more
you can stay in one key for the whole scene. Like what's a tune, like a simple 4-chord progression where if you don't hit the highlight notes, you can be way out by staying, or just write something, you know.
No, I would say anything, you know, there's a thing called turnaround in jazz, and there's a turnaround, a major and a minor. I'm talking like I'm a specialist in jazz music.
No, but
I'm really not. I just learned this stuff as you know. But the thing is, so it's like 1, 5, 2, like 1, 6, 2, 5.
Right.
So if you do it in major, you have. Let's do it in C to make it easy. So C, C, A7, 7, D minor, and G.
You got it.
So
where do you want it?
So if you don't highlight those chord changes, it's gonna sound weird. So if you just play, just do this. Yeah. So if I just play over a scale, I'm just playing C major. It doesn't really do anything to the harmony, you know? No, but if I'll start playing over the chords,
Totally.
You know what I mean? So,
Totally.
So the same thing happens on, if you do the same thing in minor, then you have C minor, A half diminished, D half diminished, G7. But it's kind of the same idea. A half diminished.
Show me.
Yeah, exactly. And then D half diminished to G7.
Oh, like a flat 5?
Yeah.
To
G7.
G7. Okay, so.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. With minor, it works a little different, but it's the same idea.
So what's the tempo you play?
Yeah, if you do this, for example. Sorry. You can just blues it. But if you want to make it a little more exciting, like I'm thinking about the cool harmony movement, you know, as opposed to if you would, you know, just play on one key, you're creating melodies, they're nice, but it doesn't highlight the harmony.
Right.
That's really the difference, you know?
What about shit like this? Like, what if it was like, what if I was going to do like a pretty simple R&B sort of, like a C minor to F9, like up tempo. And I said, get out as hell.
Oh, I can get out.
Yeah, I know you can. But like, you know, a million different ways to get out, right? Like theory approaches that work inside of the C minor to F dominant 9 thing. Like instead of just grabbing atonal notes, which anybody could do, but you've got concepts that work.
Well, here's the, I kind of try to explain it when people ask me how to play out, in and out. It's all about perception of what our ears used to.
Sure.
So for example, if you have a C note here, and if I play this, that sounds pretty harsh, correct?
Flat 9, sure.
But if that's in a certain, if that has a certain function, like it could be this,
Tension.
or it could be this. It's a sound, you know what I mean? It's not that out, it's just a sound.
Right.
You know, this is not. But when you hear it in relation to this note, if you don't know the context of it, it kind of throws you off. The same thing happens if I play flat. That was a flat 9, a flat 5. That's pretty harsh, correct? But if it's this, that's not harsh. That's pretty, you know.
The fill-in notes soften the blow. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of, it depends on, it's like I always call, I call it like colors. Same thing actually with a major 7. This is a C and this is a B.
Yes.
That's pretty harsh, but this is not harsh at all.
Right.
So it's kind of relations between what your ear is used to hearing, usually on the bass really, and then what's on top, you know?
Let me do this. Just give me a couple of tasty, wacky outs. I'll be like.
So I can really play any. The idea is how you resolve it also. So I can play anything I want out as long as I resolve it, it will make sense. So for example, you understand what I mean? See, if I resolve it, it doesn't matter what I'm playing. I'm just bullshitting now, really. But that's the part of the idea is, it's always like a thing of, I call it colors, but it's tension and release. And if you know how to resolve your idea properly, anything will work. It will, not anything, but anything, you can make anything work. That's why I said like, you know, there's rules to music, but then our ears are also used to certain things. So, you know, you have to, sometimes you can bend the rules a little bit. And as long as you kind of resolve, you know, you can play, I can show you that. You can pretty much play everything half a step up. And then as long as you resolve in the right time, it will sound like, you know, like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm good with that, you know, and then like you know, like just like all the flat 5s and things. Those are pretty effective. I look for the ones that like really kind of draw your ear in a very cool way, because you can always tell when somebody's just bullshitting.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
Well, you have to relate all this stuff to. I relate a lot of this stuff to scales.
Right.
So when I'm saying I'm bullshitting my way, I know what I'm doing.
Sure.
It's rare that I'm playing notes that are totally free, that I'm like out of the, like I know that if I did this, I played like B flat 9 over F, you know what I mean? I know that stuff in my head.
Exactly.
So that's the stuff that kind of, you have to kind of experiment with. And some of it has to just literally do with scales. Like if you play a C minor, and I play a F whole tone, that has a sound, you know what I mean? Or if I play B melodic minor, I don't know. That's harmonic, sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if you play an F7, and suddenly I'll go for the diminished. You know what I mean? So you've got all those kind of weird notes. So I go for stuff, but I kind of know where it's coming from, and that helps. Right. That makes it not be out of, you know, like space. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure. Go ahead. Yeah. All right, show me that. That's
it's
badass.
really easy.
Yeah, that's badass.
It's just whole tone.
Yeah.
All it is this.
Yeah.
I kind of went, as I would say, I bent the rules a little bit. I played like C whole tone over C minor, and then I play F whole tone over F7. So it's this thing. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So it's just this thing.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good lick. So let's slow that down for the cats. Here it is. It's let's see, 8, 7, 9.
No, what are you talking about? It's over C.
Yeah, right. It's for I'm just talking tablature.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Like
I don't do tablature.
Yeah, like 8, 7, 9, 8, 10, 9, 11. Right, so
exactly, yeah.
Right. So that's just like a straight whole tone.
Yeah.
Sick, man. So like, what if we were doing something like this, just to get wacky? What if we were like,
okay. You have to move with a chord.
Right.
No way around that.
Right.
You have to go from C minor.
Let's do 2 seconds of that.
Yeah.
Just real quickly. Want you play?
Seconds, keep going.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So do it again.
Yeah. Tone tone.
Yeah. Do it again to I'll show you something. Check it.
Yes. Sick.
So what I did here, all my little secrets.
We're getting into the good stuff,
Revealed.
man. Yes, man.
Now all I did here, because it goes back to C.
Yes.
When we went to the A flat, I actually went to G7 to the diminished scale over the G7. Then it resolves back to C. So basically, instead of doing, I played a G into the C here. A lot of times, if you want to kind of resolve things nicely,
right,
I always think about the dominant. Actually, this is a
5/7.
Yeah, exactly.
5/7, right?
Yeah.
So
like 5
of the key.
Yeah,
the 5/7 of the key,
yeah.
right? So like, but now you were looking at that. This is A flat in your head, right? That's all you were thinking, right there.
On the C minor to F? Oh,
yeah.
no, E flat. I was thinking A flat 7 kind of. I was thinking either E flat minor or A flat 7.
E flat,
but then when you go in here to get back to the C,
right.
I actually play G7 to just kind of resolve.
Now that's why, like why? Like what's going on there? Like,
because G is the 5th of C minor, so it resolved to C.
So even though I'm playing an A flat dominant 9, you can play dominant 7 G.
Kinda, you know, it's like I didn't play A7.
Okay.
I played the
A flat 7.
Like it doesn't sound good right now, but in the movement of the whole thing, like if you do this really slow, let's just do this slow.
Okay.
So now. See what I mean? It's like it kind of works kind of weirdly well. Sorry. See what I mean? Like I actually played G7. Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to squeeze things in sometimes.
Right. Do it real slow. Let me see if I can follow any of that. You play the chords real slow like that. 3, you know, call, you know. Okay. Right here. Like you were working.
I kind of was playing a little bit over the A flat, and then I was going to the G. You know?
I see. Right at the end of it.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll do it slow.
3, 4.
I'll play rhythm. This is the end of it. Yes.
Yeah. Or that second half. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Second half of it. You can do that on everything. Like you can do it on everything. You can always add a 5 to the 1. You know what I mean? Like G is a 5 to the 1.
Yes.
So you can add that to anything. Like I can add that going into E flat too, and it's
because the ear is just dying for it, right? The human ear is just always
because it works.
It's so comfortable.
I mean? Yeah,
right, for the
I don't
ear.
know why, but that's what we got used to.
Right, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Is there any like sort of you know, like I brought up the whole half, whole tone, diminished thing. I know you've studied all this stuff. Is there anything you've always been like, concepts about harmony that have always just truly baffled you? Like where you've, I'm not saying don't understand it, but wish you knew more about.
I'm not good with the whole diminished thing.
Right.
It's a whole world that I'm always going like, I gotta practice, but I'm not that good at it. I have a couple of things, but some people really dug pretty deep into it. And it goes pretty far.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's called the diminished connection. It's actually got a name to it. There's actually a thing called augmented connection also. It's kind of the same.
It's actually a miracle the way the diminished and augmented shit lays out.
Yeah, because it's symmetrical. They're both symmetrical.
It makes you think that music is math.
Yeah,
right.
It is, but you kind of can bend people's ears with, like what I did now with going from that E flat back to C. It makes no sense musically if you put things right on top of each other. But when I was playing it in real time, I was able to kind of move around between one thing to the next, you know what I mean?
Fascinating, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how it works. Let me show you.
Yeah, give me. Go ahead.
So let's play a slow blues for a second. I want to show you something.
Okay, play.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's just go over the chords and then I'll show you something. So if I play just the regular pentatonic, just minor pentatonic on the whole thing, just B flat minor, it will always works on everything, you know? So just B minor, flat minor, pentatonic. So if I want to do the same thing, but I'll change the pentatonic scale every time the chord changes. So if we have B flat 7, we play B flat minor pentatonic. If we have E flat 7, we play E flat minor pentatonic. If we have F7, we play F minor pentatonic.
Oh wow!
Then it will. In theory, it's supposed to kind of work because it worked on one chord, but you're gonna see that on the E flat, it's gonna sound funny.
Well, yeah, because it's major, right?
But all the other ones are major too.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So, but I'll show you how it can be fixed. So that's how. So if I'll show you. So check it out. If I'll to do it a little slower. So 2, 3. Now E flat. It's gonna sound weird.
Right.
So if I go now to E flat, it's kind of ugly, correct?
Right.
But keep going. Now back to B flat. Now F sounds fun, but the E flat sounds like crap.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds weird. But
let me see if I can guess why. Don't tell me yet. Like because
I actually don't know why.
Because you got this. I mean, the F sharp is really hurting us on the one chord, right? Making the sharp 5 and the B, right? I mean, this don't hurt.
Not so much.
But this F sharp is killing. Like
for some reason, I don't know.
Play the pentatonic minor, but leave out all the F sharps.
Exactly.
And then see. Yeah. Is that where you were going with this?
Yeah. What I was going with is actually you can kind of make it work if you kind of. It's what we talk about. It's the whole idea is kind of how you squeeze things around a harmony a little bit. So if I do the same thing now, I will go for the E flat, but I'm not gonna really exaggerate that F sharp that makes it weird, and then it will actually work.
Right.
So that's 3, 4. Like. So. Like I'm kind of sharpening it a little bit. Now, same. That works fine, but check it out.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of bend the rules exactly. You kind of make it.
Yeah, to a 6.
Exactly. So that happens a lot in situations.
I got that. Okay, that's cool. Okay, now explain this to me. This is something that always baffled me. You know how like
I don't have all the answers, by the way.
You got a lot of them. You got a lot of the answers. Okay, if you're doing, let's just say the song is we're playing garage rock, Chuck Berry style.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But if there's a 6 chord in the song, you just can't do the Chuck Berry thing, even though the 6 chord is major, really.
Because you're playing,
Why doesn't that work? I've never
like
understood.
You're talking about this.
Like let's just say let's go to the 4. No, 5. 4. Okay, that's our chorus.
Yeah.
But the verse is like 1, 6. You just can't. And you can't do that either. You can't, like, neither one of them works.
Yeah.
Like the flat 5 or the sharp 5 or the 6.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
I mean, I never understood why that, because every other one works.
That's in the key. So that's supposed to be musically correct.
Supposed to be musically correct.
Sounds very
sort of
Spanish.
Terrible, yeah.
That's out of the key.
Out of the key, right?
I have no idea why.
So you ever thought about that?
No. I try not to. Have
you ever thought about that, Brett? That's pretty inside, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty inside.
I believe it or not, I found it fascinating that it's hard, to me, sometimes it's very hard to play on chordal stuff that is very how do you call it when everything is the same key? You know, and like the changes that we did when everything's the same key,
right?
Like diatonic. To me, that's more challenging at this point in my life to play over than over changes that move, because when you play changes that are moving, like I have the tools, you know, you have the scales, you have all this, like, you know how to move from one thing to the next. But when it's diatonic, you can't really move. Like you have to kind of really rely on your ears to create melodies that the notes that you land on will 100%. Be normally chord notes or something that will, you know, that's more of your world. And to me, that sounds pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like it's like that's why I always suggest to people sing melodies, because I feel like, you know, you can always tell when a guitar player is letting his fingers fall where they've always fallen, and like, you know, that kind of thing, like because we all grew up, you know, playing riffs and scales and things, you know, that are comfortable places for our fingers to fall, right? Yeah. Like, and you can almost turn your mind completely off, and your fingers will just keep going, like. Yeah. But like, you know, that you can always, I just bores me when you can hear people do it. I like when you can feel melody intent, of course, at all times, right? With people. So like sometimes when I'm in the studio, like I've talked about this on several of my videos, like you only got a 4 or an 8 bar bit to come up with something interesting that's going to add something to the song. Cause you know, you got your little, you know, solo moment, you know, you can always go back to the melody of the tune, which is always, you know, a simple sort of solution, but you can also write a whole new melody part, you know, and I kind of like doing that, you know, like that, to me, like that's interesting when you, almost like a melody diversion, like, you know, you stay in the framework and the structure of the song, but you come up with a variation on the melody that makes it its own, you know, sort of block in the song, right? Wow. So like, you know, I have bad luck if I just like, you know, roll the tape and say, let's say the chords are, you know. Mm-hmm. That's our solo bit, right? Let's say it's like a Joe Cocker kind of thing or something. Like. If I just play simple blues stuff over that, it's just boring. I would rather sit and listen to those changes and then like come up, sing something in my head, like write a melody that I could sing back, and then I'll fish it out on the guitar, right? And like, you know, that's
hard stuff.
It is hard. Yeah,
really hard stuff.
It is hard.
Those 8 bars or whatever are on the track that you need to come up with a statement.
Yeah, man.
That's because you can't, you know, when you improvise over, I don't know, you have a minute solo, you can build stuff, you can maybe hit a wrong note or two that are not what you intended, but with this stuff, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be exactly right. It's very hard to do.
And the dismount has to be right, you know.
It's like, hard, it's a different type of thing, but it's very hard to do.
And the tone has to be right.
Everything, the touch, everything, the intonation,
everything has to be right.
Yeah.
What else? What else have we not covered?
No, you know what? What you were just talking about. It would be cool for Oz to play the chords and you show how you do it, your thing. Right. Because it's all been about him showing everybody that, like.
Well, because he knows the shit.
No, I know, but you have a completely different skill set. You know what I mean? And so.
Okay, like. I would start like that. Okay, let me dial up something here for you. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and play it, bro. I'd be like,
I love that stuff. It's great.
Like, so I'd try to get in that range, right? And awesome. With something like, well, let's do it again. 1 and 2, 3, you know, 4, you know. would start with that, and I would sort of, yeah, right? Like 1, 2, you play 3, 4.
Like I have to really think.
Right? It's tricky, right?
Yeah, that's the hard stuff.
Right.
I don't know if it's melodic as your thing.
Yeah. That range, right? Like more like, and then you could like, you got it right when people are talking about this at the end of the session. They'll be like, "Dude, I love that solo bit. Maybe we can add some strings that are kind of doubling those melodies." That's when you know you've come up with something interesting. That's like more of like a departure from the song, and sometimes it's just the simplest thing. And it's just like, because everyone just wants solos that they can sing back,
Yeah, the hooks, writing hooks is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's 99% of the job around here, the kind of stuff that I get involved in.
Sure.
Like, it's like, that's why I just think it's hilarious, like, when you see a guy like you that just has so much facility to play so many moving changes and stuff like that. It's like, you would just be like, I think you would be like overwhelmed by the simplicity of it. You know what I mean? It's
but
like,
but the thing is, you have to really know where to put that stuff. You know what I mean? Like if I play a blues with a blues band,
right? I'm
not gonna, I'll try to. You can kind of have to play the gig. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I would say, to have the facility. Like I have this facility because I played jazz my whole life.
Right.
And when I make my own records, I kind of made a mix of, let's say, blues or R&B or rock mixed with jazz harmony. So I can do all that stuff and it would make sense over the music that I write.
Absolutely.
But if I play that on a session like this, I'm gonna get fired after.
What I know I can say personally, like I thought about what guitar players in my life listen to have I subconsciously stolen the most stuff from. Like my two guys that I've whether intently or just through osmosis, I've stolen the most from, like Steve Howe and David Gilmour. I think both of those guys have influenced me to the point where it's like printed into my playing. Like I have to sometimes have to remove it on purpose, from my playing. Like, is there anybody in mind that when you were a kid?
I think at some point, my upbringing was kind of weird because I grew up in the 80s.
Right.
So in one hand, I love all the shred stuff that was going on, like Satriani and Vai and all those guys. But in the same time, I was kind of disciplined enough to learn jazz. So I literally learned Charlie Parker.
Right.
So I was like, I had a jazz guitar. I was playing bebop and learning the language of bebop.
Sure.
Like Wes Montgomery. And then I had a rock guitar where I was shredding and doing tapping. So, but I would say that in terms of when things start to kind of come together, as one thing is when blues started to get into the picture. So I think Stevie Ray Vaughan is a big part of it.
Right.
So when I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan, I started to, he was like my introduction to blues, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say I try to avoid playing any Stevie Ray Vaughan licks as much as I could these days, although it comes out whether I want it or not.
Yeah.
And in terms of the jazz stuff, I can't tell because I learned a lot of Charlie Parker stuff. I was a Wes Montgomery clone. I used to play with my thumb.
Right.
And I could play full Wes Montgomery records with the record, with the solos. You know what I mean? I was that much into that.
Amazing.
So I would say Wes Montgomery, but the way I play now, I think it's in the background of what I do. Right. You know what I mean? But I would say probably Wes Montgomery and Stevie Ray Vaughan were probably the two biggest.
1, 2, 3. Did I double those chords?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay, I handled it.
That's the thing.
Grace.
Land on your feet, man. That's the thing. When the guy doubles the chords, you got to go with it.
What about, let's just do this.
Yeah, dude. Here, jigs up.
Oh.
Up for 4. Here we go. We're dying lavaliers, man. We got it. Dude.
Well, that was that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on the show, bro. Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having us, man. So cool.
You have enough shit there?
Oh, dude.
To